The woman who reached for hope. Some stories start with miracles. This one starts with 12 years of pain and a single quiet moment that changed everything. Stay with this, because what happens next still speaks to anyone who's ever felt desperate, unseen, or on the edge of giving up. There are days when the world feels like it's moving too fast. People talking over each other, footsteps everywhere. Life pressing in with a kind of noise that makes you feel small. That's the kind of day this story begins in. A packed street, a crowd so tight the air feels different, dust rising with every step, voices layered on top of each other like waves that never stop crashing. Jesus is walking through town, and everyone wants a piece of his attention. Some want healing, some want answers, some just want to see him with their own eyes. Whatever the reason, the crowd swells around him like a tide, pulling him forward. But the real story isn't at the center of the crowd, it's at the edge. There, almost hidden by bodies and noise, stands a woman who looks like she's been carrying the weight of a lifetime. You might not notice her at first. She keeps her head low, shoulders tucked in, as if trying to take up as little space as possible. But if you really look, if your eyes slow down enough, you'd see something deeper than exhaustion. 12 years. That's how long she's been bleeding. It's a pain most people could never understand, a condition that drained her strength day after day. She visited doctors until she ran out of money. She tried treatments that promised relief, but left her worse than before. And every year, the hope inside her shrank a little more, like a candle flickering in a room with too much wind. Her body is tired, yes, but her loneliness might be even heavier. In her community, her condition set her apart. She couldn't join in normal gatherings, couldn't live life the way she once did. It wasn't just a physical sickness, it was a wall between her and the world. But this morning, something is different. She hears that Jesus is passing through. She doesn't run, she doesn't shout, but something inside her wakes up. Something stubborn and quiet, like a heartbeat deciding it's not done yet. She watches the crowd move around him, and she knows people like her don't get front row access. But she also knows this chance might never come again. She pulls her shawl tighter around her shoulders and steps into the river of people. She doesn't force her way through. She weaves, gentle movements, steady breaths, eyes fixed on the back of Jesus. Every step feels like a battle between hope and fear, but hope wins, step after step. There's only one thought running through her mind, looping like a whisper she doesn't dare say out loud. If I can just touch his robe, I will be healed. Not maybe, not I hope so. There's a quiet certainty in her, the kind you only see in people who have run out of everything but faith. The closer she gets, the louder the crowd becomes. People are reaching, shouting, pushing, but she isn't trying to grab his hand or his attention. All she wants is the fringe of his robe, just one touch. She stretches her hand out, fingertips trembling, body shaking from fear and exhaustion. She leans forward and brushes the edge of his robe, and the world changes. She knows it instantly. Something inside her shifts, deep enough to stop her where she stands. The pain that's lived in her body for more than a decade, gone. The bleeding that never stopped, quiet. She feels whole, light, free. Like someone just opened a window in a room she'd been locked in for 12 years. She takes a breath that feels brand new. Part of her wants to fall to her knees in gratitude, but courage has its own kind of shyness. She's ready to slip back into the crowd, disappear the way she always has. It's safer to stay invisible. But then Jesus stops. He turns around, not confused, not startled, but searching. His eyes scan the faces around him with purpose. Who touched me? The crowd hushes just slightly, not completely, just enough for the question to hang in the air. The disciples look at him the way friends do when they think you're asking something impossible. Jesus, look around, they say. Everyone's touching you. There's no way to know. But Jesus doesn't budge. He knows the difference between a bump and a reach, between chaos and faith. Someone deliberately touched me, he says. I felt power go out from me. The woman freezes. Her breath catches. Her heart thumps against her ribs in a way she can feel in her throat. She hasn't been called out in years, not like this, not in front of an entire crowd. Part of her wants to turn and run, but something deeper roots her feet to the ground. This moment isn't a trap, it's an invitation. She steps forward. Her knees shake as she walks through the crowd, and suddenly the noise around her feels like a distant hum. She falls at Jesus' feet, trembling, not from fear alone, but from awe, gratitude, and the overwhelming realization that she's no longer the woman defined by sickness. The crowd goes silent. Everyone is watching. She tells Jesus everything. She tells him about the 12 years, the doctors, the disappointment, the loneliness, the moment she saw him, the daring thought that carried her through the crowd, and the instant her suffering ended when she touched his robe. Jesus listens with a focus that calms her. He isn't annoyed. He isn't impatient. He isn't bothered that she touched him without asking. He listens like she's the only person in the world. Then he speaks a word no one expects. Daughter. A word that restores dignity. A word that brings her into belonging. A word that tells her she's not an outsider anymore. Then he says, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Not your courage, not your desperation, not your effort, your faith. 12 years of suffering close with one moment of recognition. One moment where Jesus doesn't just heal her body, but gives her identity back. She walks away with peace rising inside her like dawn. And for the first time in years, she stands tall. The crowd starts moving again, but she doesn't disappear this time. She walks away not as an outcast, but as someone restored, seen, known, healed. This story is a reminder that some of the bravest people aren't the loud ones. They're the ones who reach quietly, even when everything in life has told them not to hope again. They're the ones who believe that one touch, one prayer, one moment, one step might change everything. And sometimes it does. If this story spoke to you, share it with someone who might need a reminder that hope is still within reach. And if you want more modern, heartfelt retellings like this, stay connected. Subscribe, like, and comment. There are many more stories that can lift the heart and steady the soul.